Hello and welcome inside the Sports Sermon. I am Dylan Stagge here today with Jason Gandhi and Dan Majors for a special Sunday episode. We've got some pretty exciting stuff on the show today as now it's NBA offseason time. We'll wrap up the season with some Game 4 analysis from the finals and then what everyone wants to know. LeBron's future. We'll be talking about that too. And then a few more NBA rumors as now it's the offseason. They're all flying around. So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at The Sports Sermon. That's sports with a Z. And you can check us out on Periscope, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So let's go ahead and start off with the finals. Game 4. The Warriors ended it in a sweep, and after the game, it came out that LeBron's hand had been injured after Game 1 after he allegedly punched a blackboard in the locker room out of frustration, and obviously that affected him to some degree in Games 2, 3, and 4. How much do you guys think it affected him?
I don't think it affected him at all, and even if it did, it really doesn't matter. It's self-inflicted. That's your fault. I don't feel bad for you, first off. And second of all, I was so mad when he brought it out after the post-game presser, because if you're going to keep it a secret, keep it a secret the rest of the last 20 minutes of this season. Figure it out at home and all that. But, if you're going to keep it a secret, then do it and stop. I felt like it was such a feel bad for me. I play with a broken hand. And this is where I get fed up with LeBron, because he's just I feel like it came off as an excuse of, this is why we didn't win, and this is why I didn't try, and all this because of this stupid cast. I don't think the result would have changed at all. I think they still would have lost. Their closest game, he had a perfectly good hand, and they still lost. I don't think the result would have been any different. I was just tired of it. I was like, stop. Your season's over. We don't want to hear about your cast.
I see what you're saying, but I still think it affected him a lot, because he went for 51 in Game 1, shot 43% from 3 in Game 1, and 27% from 3 the rest of the series. He started taking a lot less shots in Games 2 through 4. I said after Game 2 and 3 that he was kicking out a lot more off of the drive, and the hand was probably why. It was getting progressively worse as the series went on, and as Game 4, he only took 13 shots and 1 3, and you can see a picture during Game 4 of his hand swelled up a lot.
Yeah, I guess it probably did affect him. I guess I just don't feel bad for him. I'm like, you have to play through it. If it was Draymond stepped on his hand, then it's it was unfortunate or whatever. But he punched a whiteboard. He's the idiot. Control your emotions, and you wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah,
that's why.
He still played all 3 games without mentioning it at all. Obviously,
but then why are you mentioning it in the post-game press conference?
It already came out before. That's why they asked him questions about
it. They wouldn't have asked him if he didn't have the cast on his hand. He
even
mentioned it. He said, "You guys like this cast, huh?"
He said that.
I was like, "Shut up!" Go. Yeah, it was so stupid.
Well, that's because they were just taking.
It was so stupid. He was like, "You like this cast, huh? You want me to put it right here?" I was like, "Shut up!"
He itched his nose.
I know. It was so dumb.
Anyway, I think it definitely affected his shooting, like Dan said, but I think he definitely was still able to drive effectively, but it didn't really make a difference between a winner or a loss. I still would have the Warriors. I would still pick the Warriors in 4, even if it came out after Game 1. But
maybe he could have stolen another game. I don't know.
Maybe Game 3 if he just made a ton of threes or something, because no one else is making threes. Game 3 was a lot closer, but I don't know.
His play did look different from Game 1 in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's looked less aggressive, but I feel like that could be a mentality thing.
I thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so what do you guys make of LeBron's laziness? Like we've mentioned, he was less aggressive, obviously, in Games 2, 3, and 4. What do you guys think about it?
I understand that, he's tired, and, this is probably the hardest season of his career, and, I understand all of that. And so, I'm not saying that it's wrong of him or anything like that. I guess I'm just saying, I was disappointed as a fan of the game to see him look so, deflated and look like he didn't care in Game 4. And I know he did and all that. I'm just saying, as a fan, it was very frustrating to be why aren't we seeing the Game 1 LeBron? And, yeah, you can credit that to his hand, but that's just, another excuse. You should be able to have the mentality to play through it. And, even when he checked out, it was kind of, underwhelming. Everyone just, clapped for him, and then he, dapped everybody up. But it was just kind of, underwhelming. I felt like the whole night was just kind of, a dud of a night. It wasn't anything special.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it had a lot to do with his hand and how bad his team is. He realized there's no way he could take this team from down 3-0 against one of the best teams ever with a broken hand or whatever it is and win the series. There was no reason in his mind to risk getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of being tired. Obviously, he played all 82 games in the season for the first time ever. He went to 7 with the Pacers and Celtics. In the playoffs, it was just a really long season in which he probably did the most work of his career trying to lead this team through because his team wasn't very good. And then, obviously, the hand injury, too. That definitely didn't help things. And then, I mean, I think he definitely did let off the gas a little bit in Game 4 after he realized he was down 3-0 and pretty much there's no chance anymore. I think after Game 1, too, he just gave up a little bit. Like, that was their game to steal. That was their game to give them a chance. And after they didn't get that, I don't think there was... LeBron, obviously, and the whole team just kind of let down their attitude a little bit. I think that also could be contributed to the hand because obviously his team all knew about it, and that might have brought down their morale also.
Yeah, I mean, he played 104 games this season, so I understand the tired factor of it. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I didn't see like the role players that they gave up, and I know they haven't had the same load that LeBron has. I'm just saying, I don't know, I felt like everyone was in it except for LeBron, and he was just kind of like, if we win, cool, but if not, I'm already gone, so I don't really care. I don't know. He didn't seem as like emotionally invested.
I don't think the effort was there from the role players, though. Like, they tried on defense in Game 1. I don't think they did in Games 2, 3, or 4.
I mean, they can try all they want. They're still bad on defense. Like, I don't think it was like a defensive thing. They were never going to play good defense against them. Like, they've just always been bad defensively. I mean offensively. Like, LeBron looked complacent. Looked like he didn't want the ball in his hands. He's like... every time he
didn't want the ball in his hand, it probably hurt.
I mean, that's not...
LeBron's defense was completely lazy. It was insane.
I thought,
it has been all season, though.
Well,
but this is the time to step it up.
Game 4 was different.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I cannot tell you the amount of times he'd get the ball and he just like lazily passed to his teammate. I was like, do something with the ball.
I'm like, you take shots.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but like it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't think Jordan would have ever done this in the finals. Like, say what you want, but like, I just don't. It's hard when you're already getting swept to not put out effort. Like, I feel like that's when like your back's against the wall. Let's see what you do, and he did nothing. It was just disappointing.
I've never been disappointed like that on LeBron.
Exactly. That was the first time I was genuinely like, that was not fun to watch. Like, that was upsetting. Yeah. And, like, even the Warriors, like, that was funny. The Warriors didn't even look that excited. They were like, we knew we were going to do it. And, I mean, as soon as the ball was tipped and they saw LeBron not trying, I guarantee you they were like, we got this. Like, it was over from the minute LeBron gave up.
Steph were on.
Yeah, Steph was on fire. He was balling. And then Durant was just there to, like, do whatever Steph could do. He was like, I got you. Like, yeah, they were so fun to watch. I wish we would have seen the Cavs actually put in some more effort and see what would have happened.
All right, so let's move on to the Warriors side then. KD or Steph, who deserved the Finals MVP?
I think definitely Steph Curry. And, I mean, the statistics, you can say what you want. Like, I don't really care about the statistics. Like, maybe that's how they're going to do the MVP, but it shouldn't be that way. He is the difference maker. Every single game he was the difference maker. Even in Game 3, he hit that big three-pointer that was the second biggest shot. Yes, Durant had the biggest shot, but he had that second biggest shot. He had missed every single three, but he hits a big one when they need it. And he's the star of that team. Durant knew when he came to Golden State that this is Steph Curry's team. It is still Steph Curry's team, and it will always be his team until he retires. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't have got the Finals MVP. He had the best series of any of them, just by leadership-wise. And Durant's stats might look better because he had almost a triple-double, or maybe a triple. I don't know what their exact stats are. But Steph Curry is the reason they won those games, because of his leadership, and he was the difference maker in the series.
Yeah, I have Steph also. But
yeah.
I think it was pretty close. Each had one bad game. KD in Game 1 was 1 for 7 from 3. Steph in Game 3, 3 for 16 from the field. Each were the headline of a game. KD in Game 3, lights out and couldn't miss. Steph in Game 2 broke the record for most threes in the finals game. KD's averages looked a smidge better, like Jason said, but Curry was amazing in Game 4.
Yeah.
If this game wasn't a blowout, then Curry would have been the hero. So based on his Game 2 and Game 4 performances, along with the fact that KD won it last year, I would give Steph the nod.
I got to go with KD because I don't think you can discount Game 3. I mean, if they didn't have KD, the Warriors would have lost that game, and it would not have been close. Steph was 3 for 16. Obviously, he was great the rest of the series, but I think Game 3 was definitely the difference in KD getting it.
I mean, I just feel like you can't, like, if you're going to do Game 3, then why are we doing the series? Like, Steph had a better series, and KD, like, it was just, like, coincidental that KD's best game on a night, Curry's was his worst night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we would have seen Curry had his great Game 2 on the night that Durant had his worst game, maybe we'd be saying the same thing. So I think that's just part of it. And, like, that's the thing, is the stuff that doesn't show up in the box score. Steph Curry is the leader, and, like, he is the reason they're there, and he's the reason this is a dynasty because of him. And that's why, like, I mean, but at the same time, I think it's so cool that, like, they don't care. They have no preference on who wins the MVP. Like,
I mean,
you could tell. Like,
that's
as soon as you could tell.
You have no idea.
You watched him the entire time, and, like,
I was even looking for Steph.
I was like, he probably pissed, and then I was watching him, and he was, like, one of the first few, like, dap up Durant, and, like, he was so pumped about it. He talked for, like, 3 minutes in his presser about how great Durant. Like, I thought it was really cool that, like, this team is such a tight unit that, like, no one gives a shit who wins the MVP.
Not according to David West. We'll get to that later.
That's different, yeah.
I mean, I think that's outward. I think Steph Curry is definitely mad about it inside somewhere.
No way.
Somewhere
he's not mad. At all, he's probably. I guarantee you he's not mad. He's probably like, it would have been cool to win. I guarantee you he's not mad. There's no way he'd be mad.
You look at he's one of.
He'll win it next year.
Well, you don't know that.
I'm just saying,
he could
like,
potentially be a top 20 player of all time.
He already is in some people's books.
Exactly.
And I don't think the Finals MVP is going to make his legacy. I don't think anyone's going to look at his legacy and be like,
won 3 finals and never won a Finals MVP?
But no one looks at that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think anyone's going to look at that. No, they won't.
Curry haters are definitely going to look at that.
Kobe Bryant is one of the top 10 greatest players of all time. I think he has 1 Finals MVP. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing is, it matters if you're on the fringe. Neither of them are going to be on the fringe. I guarantee it. Steph Curry is going to be a top 10, top 20 player. Durant is going to be a top 10, top 20 player. That's what's cool is, though, neither care who gets it. Like, if Curry would have got it, Durant would be pumped. Durant got it, Curry was pumped. Like, I just think it's cool to see that, like, I think if it was a different team, you could have seen, like, congrats.
Yeah.
Bye. Like, I don't know. I just think it could have broken up some other teams where, like, this team is so tight-knit. I think it's cool.
Well, we will see about that if anything ever comes out. But I think that Steph's definitely somewhere deep down. Gotta be mad. But Game 4 was the only true blowout of the series. What was the difference in Game 4?
I just thought it was LeBron. He just didn't look as mentally checked in, and he looked like he was just ready to get out of Cleveland. And it was frustrating, but I mean, it was what it was, and the Warriors walked to a sweep.
Yeah, I agree. LeBron's effort and both KD and Steph showed up. LeBron only took 13 shots and was just playing lazy on defense, like we already talked about. Both KD and Steph had solid performances, with Steph finishing with 37. So if 2 of the top 5 players in the world are on their A game, playing against a lazy LeBron and the Cavs, then it's going to be a blowout.
Yep, the Cavs didn't show up. They didn't try. They knew the season was over, and they gave up. But let's move on to LeBron's future. So obviously, a lot of people think he's leaving the Cavs. Is there anything that the Cavs can do to keep LeBron in Cleveland?
Yeah, so I wrote down a few things that would, I think, entice him to stay a little more. I think you have to package the 8th pick in Kevin Love and try to get a star. Get a guy like Kawhi, or try to get a guy that's a star.
Kawhi.
8th pick in Kevin Love, and you throw in more stuff. I think you've got to get an absolute star to pair with him, because that's before. You cannot take the 8th pick in the draft if you're trying to get LeBron back.
No, I totally agree,
So-
but I don't think that...
I'm just saying somebody like that nature. Because, like, I would say Chris Paul, but he's a free agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type of players where, like, you have to go get a star. Like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. You have to go Jimmy Butler. Get someone like him. Like, trade for a star. Then you have to find a trade partner for a better than above average role player, whatever it costs. Like, get somebody that can be a 6th man type position just to give you some extra help when you get to the playoffs. And then trade next year's pick and Jordan Clarkson for anything. Just try to cut some cap, and that way, if he doesn't, you can make some moves, and if he does come, you have a little bit of wiggle room to do something. So I think you've got to get rid of Clarkson in next year's pick just to give some just that much little financial flexibility. And then he maybe comes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's really any additions they can make with the assets that they have. I don't think there's any additions that they can make that will impact his decision. The only thing keeping him would be his family.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake the Cavs made this year was not trading the 8th pick before the lottery, because that Brooklyn pick was supposed to be like top 3, but everyone was saying since like 2 years ago. So like, and when they got that from Cleveland, they should have tried to get Boogie, tried to get AD, tried to get somebody immediately with it, and not play this limbo of if he stays, we've got a future, or if he stays, we've got this pick to build around. If he leaves, we've got a future. Like, it was just kind of like this. And now he can't trade it for as much because you waited till after the lottery. It was just like this awkward limbo the Cavs stayed in. They should have just made a decision and roll with it.
Yeah, I think what they do on draft night is definitely going to show how much, one, they think that they have a chance at LeBron, and two, how much they're willing to try. Because if they take that 8th pick, like, he's not going to stay, because that 8th pick, you got to package it to, one, try to get a star, and two, to clear some cap space. I mean, they need a bigger star than Kevin Love. Obviously, they're not getting anywhere with LeBron and Kevin Love paired up. And also, like Dan said, you have to pray that his family wants to stay in Cleveland and begs LeBron to stay.
I mean, I think... What?
I bet his family does want to stay. But
I know his wife does, but I don't know about his kids. I think one thing that you said that like I disagree with is like how much they're willing to try. Because I mean, they could be throwing trade offers out the wazoo for that 8th pick, and they're not going to like throw it away for nothing. You know what I mean? Like Dan said, like Kawhi wouldn't be a good trade. Like the Spurs wouldn't do that. So like we might not ever hear that they were throwing out trade offers the last week leading up to the draft. They couldn't do anything, and they just said screw it. So like I agree that if it's not traded, LeBron's gone. I'm just saying like I wouldn't discount the Cavs like not trying if it's not traded. It's like maybe they couldn't find a good deal. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
All right, so LeBron came out and said that the 2010 free agency was a lot tougher than this one. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think 2010 was definitely tougher just because I feel like when he was that age, he cared a lot more about what the media thought and how he'd be perceived in that nature of like greatness and all of that. Now I think he's so much more secure. He doesn't care what other people think. He's going to do what's best for him. Where I think in 2010 he was genuinely worried about leaving Cleveland and seeing like all these people like turn on him. I think it did affect him like when the jerseys were burned. I think now he's just more mature and he's like, you know what, I have to do what's best for me and my family. And so I think definitely 2010 was harder because he didn't want to disappoint the entire city of Cleveland.
Right, and I totally agree. And
yeah,
I think because he brought the title to Cleveland,
exactly. He's immortal on Cleveland. Yeah.
Like if you're a Cleveland fan, you should totally understand the situation.
Yeah.
You should. I mean, you're definitely going to be upset that he leaves.
Yeah, but
because you're not going to be good for a long time. But like, you should understand this team is terrible.
Yeah.
Do not be mad at LeBron.
I don't think they will be. I think they all understand it. And if they don't understand it, at least they brought him a championship. You know, I mean, that's how I look at it. Is like even if you're mad that he's gone, you still have one more ring than you would have if he didn't come at all. So like, I don't think they're that mad about it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more pressure to win a championship in 2010 also, because at that time he didn't have one at all. Like, he wanted one for his legacy, and I think that's why he chose Miami. And but also at the same time, there was a more obvious choice for LeBron once he decided that he wanted to leave Cleveland, and once Wade and Bosh signed with Miami. Obviously, you're going to go there, form the Big Three, and have a dynasty for 4 years, won 2 championships. But now, right now, there's no like number one option for LeBron that's going to be obvious like that, at least right now. And he has a lot of different choices for teams.
So you think it's tougher this year because there's no clear-cut number one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I said yes and no for the question, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to be tougher to leave Cleveland, like you guys mentioned. But there's no clear-cut number one for me in terms of teams that he would fit with.
I mean, I think number one, if I'm him, should be Houston. It's just a matter of like if it makes sense financially and all of that. But like pure championship potential is definitely Houston, in my opinion. But I think there's something to be said about him staying in the East. Like, why would you want to go play the Warriors and possibly the Rockets in the Western Conference semifinals and finals? Like, I think that there is something to be said about that. So, like, does he stay in the East and go to somewhere like Boston or Cleveland or, like, I mean, that's a reason he could stay in Cleveland is because he doesn't want to go into the West. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I think we'll start to see signs starting, I mean, as early as today possibly. Just when he starts talking to his family, all it takes is one person to slip one thing out. I mean, this sounds stupid, but, like, Bronny or whatever his oldest kid is, he is 13. He has a phone. He's on social media. Like, things can happen. I think it's like, because 2010, the kids were not old enough to have any say in it. And he said that. Like, they had no influence in this. But, like, a lot can change where I think, I feel like nothing would surprise me. If you go to the Nets and be like, makes sense. Like, whatever he went, I feel like nothing would surprise me.
I honestly
Because I have
don't
no
know what
idea.
he's gonna do.
Exactly. I don't
really
think
don't.
anyone knows but him, his wife, and maybe his kids.
I don't even think he knows right now.
No.
I think he has a list of where he wants to go. I think
Well,
he has a
yeah.
list. That's what I mean. Like, I think he's got, like,
I mean,
I want
I
to go to
think
these
it's
4 places.
I think it's a big list, though. Like, at
Like,
least
how deep?
10 teams. That we...
Name them. That you're thinking.
I mean, first, we'll talk about this in a little bit. Well, actually,
We'll
let's
just do it
let's
now.
go
Yeah,
ahead
that's what I
and
was
get
saying.
into it.
Yeah.
My top 6 are the Cavs, Sixers, Celtics, Lakers, Rockets, and Spurs. I think, like Stephen A. also said, you can throw the Warriors in. Apparently, he wants to have a meeting with them. I don't think it's realistic.
That'd be so cool.
I don't think it's realistic. No,
That'd be
that
so
would
What
not
do you
be
mean?
cool.
That'd be so cool.
No.
Dude, what would you do with that? Okay, sorry, continue.
I would
think-
never want to see NBA again.
I would
Sorry.
I'd buy like season tickets. I'd go fly out to Golden State. That'd be the coolest thing ever.
I think he also will have a meeting with the Heat just because that's his old team and he respects Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. Possibly the Thunder too. He might throw them in. Not saying it's a legit option. These teams that I just listed, I don't think are legit options. My first 6
Yeah.
were, but that's 9 right there, and possibly they could be a wild card. Apparently, Toronto's a dark horse.
I haven't heard Toronto. Wow, that's
You mentioned that to us like last week or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think so
I-
either.
Le-
but
only
they would
reason
definitely have to
is
change their
because
city to Lebronto. They'd have to change it to Lebronto. I would make him.
The only thing is the location. Like, the team's good, but, like, I don't see him going to Toronto.
yeah, I don't.
I just like. I mean, I think the Jazz. I was talking about this with Dylan with like young guys coming there. Like the Jazz are interesting. They've got some cap space. They could definitely make enough if they had to. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert is one heck of a team. Like that's enticing if I'm him. Like I would like, well, like yes, they're still in the West. That part's
Yeah.
like, why go there if you could go somewhere else? But like, I don't know. I just think Utah's like a team where like it kind of like you look at their team and I'm like, why wouldn't you want to go there? Like they've got a young guy, they've got an established defensive guy that can help you out on the back end. Like I think it'd just be interesting. If I don't know if that'll ever come to fruition, but like just looking around the league, I was like, Utah might be somewhere special. I don't know. The Eastern
Possibly.
teams are so bad. It's part of the problem.
Maybe even the Knicks too. I mean,
Mhm.
just because it's New York,
I mean,
I think you have to.
That's rumored every time he's a free
Right.
agent, though. So like it could be. I'm just saying like that's always rumored. Yeah, like the East is so bad. He's not going to the Bulls. Like
I mean, earlier this year, I would think about the Bucks, but like because they beat so bad.
yeah, and him and Giannis would not fit well.
I
Who's
don't-
the Bucks coach? Is it Budenholzer? Budenholzer?
I believe so.
I think
yeah.
that's where they went. Yeah, that's a good fit actually. I like Budenholzer and I like Giannis. Did you see like? I mean, like I was saying, I think San Antonio is a very interesting dark horse because like every guy that plays on the Olympics loves Pop, and
Right.
if they can get a meeting with him, I'd be worried if I was any other team. Like I just think San Antonio is so good at what they do, but at the same time, this Kawhi thing is a little red flag. Like the first red flag we've seen in 20 years for San Antonio.
I mean, it seems like things are back in order as of lately. The Spurs aren't even listening to trade offers, and they're going to have a meeting soon. And apparently, they're willing to offer him the supermax. So
I'm just saying, I think
things are back in order.
I mean, that's not what you like to hear. The year LeBron. I mean, same thing with Philly. Yeah, I might get back to order when they get a GM, but like, you just don't like to hear those things. When you're an impending free agent, I don't
Well-
want to hear my GM tweeting things or my front office not wanting to give our best player any attention, like not trying
Right,
to
but
like.
I've also heard it might be better that Colangelo's gone. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
So,
better,
yeah.
especially like if they can bring in.
I
David
mean, he was
Griffin
good
now.
like when he was there. I don't think it was like bad when he was there. Just like
Yeah.
now they have the burner accounts. He's good. He's gone. Like, I mean, he's still part of the development.
he
He's
was
still
better.
got JJ Redick, which is a great signing this year to help them get to the playoffs. I mean, JJ Redick was a huge signing this year, and like I don't think you can just like say like Colangelo didn't do anything.
no, I
But,
don't
like,
think that.
I don't think it's like I don't think it was bad that he was gone. I don't think it was bad that he was there until he had the burner accounts, and obviously you have to because like no one's going to come there. But yeah, I mean, just if you look around the East, Philly and Miami are the only two that really make sense if you want to stay in the East. Philly, Miami, and Cleveland, because like Celtics would just break the NBA. The Knicks is just like the big city. Toronto's weird.
I'm not sure the Celtics would break the NBA.
It'd just be like because you can't then Kyrie and LeBron are together. Like it would just create
Well,
so many
yeah.
storylines. That's what I'm saying. Like it would just break like everything ever. Because then what do they do with Gordon Hayward? Like, you just got him, and now you just got his replacement, basically. Like, I think it's just like...
I don't think it's Hayward or Horford for the Celtics if they want LeBron.
That's what I'm saying, if you get rid of one of them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd be... Dude, what? See, that's the thing. It would break the NBA. Now, Kyrie and LeBron are teammates. You gave Gordon Hayward a max contract, saw him for 7 minutes, and then traded him. Like, it's just so many things would come together that would be so weird if you went to Boston. I was talking to Christian Munson yesterday, and he was saying, what if LeBron just hates Kyrie enough where he says to Boston, let's do a sign and trade, put Kyrie back in Cleveland where they have nothing. He has to come back there. He goes to Boston, wins a bunch of ships, and Kyrie's stuck in Cleveland again. Because Kyrie doesn't have a no-trade clause or anything, and Boston would definitely, I feel like, do it. If they could get, they're already worried about him not re-signing. Like, oh, it'd be so great. Just to screw.
He doesn't hate Kyrie.
But he also is just petty enough to do it. He wore a cast to get people to talk about him.
No,
like,
that is false.
That is so
Come
petty.
on.
That is so petty to get a cast on. Like, you don't need it to talk. Keep your cast off 10 more minutes when you're in a press. Like, you're not playing basketball. You're standing at a table. Keep your cast
At
off.
least he didn't do it.
They still would have asked
during
him
the
questions
series.
about it.
Like, if
I
he
mean,
would
it's
have done it
better.
during the series, that would have been the whole storyline. Like, can LeBron lead his team past the Warriors?
I
with a
agree, but
broken
why are you
lead?
do? But why bring it out now? There's no reason to do it.
Okay, but
I think you
why
give
bring
him.
it out at any time? Like,
Yeah.
That's my point.
No,
Don't.
like-
Just wait till the season's over. Why make it about you?
The season was over.
He's making it about him again. The Warriors won the championship, but all we're going to talk about is LeBron's stupid cast because it has to be about LeBron. This is where I get tired of
No,
the
we're
LeBron
talking
show.
about
Yeah,
LeBron
please
because
tell
he's
me
a
how
free
you
agent.
don't hate LeBron.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Every show is talking about his stupid cast.
Yeah,
Because
it's a
LeBron,
story.
it has to be about LeBron, and that's where people get frustrated because he has to be in the media 24/7. Where there's other guys that don't need this. Like, the Warriors would not be doing this if they lost. They didn't say anything when they lost besides Draymond and LeBron's little beef thing.
Okay, but
but like,
eventually we would see a cast on his hand. Would we
but
not?
why not do that a week later? Like, yes, it's
But
on his.
what's the point?
Yeah,
Why,
why?
what's so
What was the
different?
difference between after the
Because
game
he
and a
waited.
week later?
Because he kept it away from the series, so you know you have a post game presser. So there is no reason to just now. Oh, I have to go talk to these reporters one last time. Let's put a cast on. It changes the narrative. Now it's. Would you have won if you would have had like it changed the
they
narrative?
still
of
would have
every,
asked him questions about it because right after the game, Brian Windhorst and Sam Amick both reported that
Mhm.
LeBron.
They wouldn't have the same things. They would have said, "Where's your cast?" He'd be like, he would have answered it, and then like it would have been over. Now that he had the cast, you have to talk about it. Then he said, "You like my cast?" Like, it was just stupid. All in all, he did it so way more people would talk about him on the night the Warriors swept him because now the storyline's not how he got swept; it's about how he had a cast and he was hurt. That's where I get frustrated, and it was a pleasure watching these playoffs. It was so fun, but it just puts a sour taste in my mouth at the end of the playoffs with, are you seriously going to do this and make an excuse? Like, it just felt like another excuse. If you hurt your hand, you're going to wear a cast, wear it game 2. Wear it game 3. Wear it game 4. But don't do it when you have one more chance to see everybody in the media.
I mean, I
Let's
kinda wish
put
he
this on.
would've, 'cause then-
Yeah, that's fine. I would have no issue with it then.
Yeah, Jason, a former LeBron hater, supposedly.
Yes.
You-
How your Clippers? Pacers.
what?
Los Angeles Pacers.
No. You said you gave up.
You said formers. I was like, wait.
You said
Clipper
you gave up on hating LeBron.
I did. I'm
You
saying
just
this is
hated
what
LeBron
bugs
for
me.
5 minutes straight.
I
Well, I
can't.
mean, he
I can't
can't-
get bugged by something.
He
'cause-
can't love everything. I'll give
yeah,
you
like, do you
But,
love
like-
every single player you don't hate? No, it just bugs me about somebody. Like, I don't hate LeBron. I still love the way. Like, he's still a good player, one of the best to play, and he's a great. Like, all that. Like, that
let's
bugged
be
me.
honest, Dylan. Jason's come a long way from being a LeBron hater.
Dylan will never admit
Yeah,
that.
no.
See, there you go. He will never admit that. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you.
Especially the way he talked about him, like previews for the series and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The LeBron hate's over. I can still talk about things that bug me.
If he was still LeBron,
The same thing- if he
hater,
puts out a
would've said
team-
Warriors and
Yeah, and I mean,
Look.
if he puts out another TV show to make his decision, it's going to bug me again. Doesn't mean I hate him. I'm just saying, like, there are going to be things that might bug me about players I don't hate. Like, they bug me. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just frustrating.
All right, I just think you talk about LeBron in a different way than you do anybody else.
He
LeBron
is
and
the
Chris
topic
Paul.
of our show.
LeBron
Like,
and
how
Chris
else do
Paul.
I talk about him? He is literally our show. The finals, which he lost, and then LeBron's future were our 2 segments. It's literally LeBron. The entire show.
All right, who are the favorites? Top 3 for LeBron in free agency.
I got the Rockets number one. Probably wouldn't be able to keep Chris Paul, but a roster with LeBron and Harden along with some solid starts would be very dangerous. I also got the Lakers at 2. I think it's down to the Rockets and Lakers. Like those are the top 2, and then it's like after that, there's a gap, in my opinion. If he wants to go to LA, then this is the place to go. Pair up LeBron and Paul George out here, and that is the title contending team. My third team is the Sixers. This is the only realistic team in the East, in my opinion, and I think they'll have a solid pitch, but it won't be enough this time.
Yeah, I have Lakers number 1 because of the possibility to pair up with Paul George, and the Lakers have just been rumored forever for LeBron since last offseason. So they're my number 1, and then the Sixers, number 2, just because of their young core that can compete now. They won 50 games last season, and now Embiid and Simmons will be a year older. With LeBron, that's a insane team. Plus, they have the cap space to do it right away, and won't have to trade away any of their pieces, any of their big pieces at least, from the roster. And then third, I have the Cavs, just because it's the hometown team. I think they could still swing a few deals to put a better team around him than last season. Not that it would be great, but it would still be better than last season. Plus, he said after the game that his biggest priority with free agency is doing what's best for his family, and I think his family's number 1 option would probably be to stay in Cleveland.
So no Rockets in the top 3?
No.
I don't have the Rockets in the top 3 either.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I have them number 4. I think if you're gonna go if you're going there to team up with Chris Paul, go to LA. That's why I've heard that a lot recently. Is that they were going to talk about going to LA together. And if you're going there to win a championship, then you might lose Chris Paul, who's his best friend, to get James Harden, or they have to make a bunch of moves, which might not even be possible. So a lot has to go right in Houston, where in LA it's a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? All LA has to do is either decline Randall's any offer Randall gets, or trade Luol Deng. They can do either of those, and then they've got room for both of them. That just makes them.
So many possibilities.
I know.
This has to be the craziest free agent.
But see, I feel like we said it last year. We definitely said this last year, and then we definitely said it 2 years ago, and then we definitely said it 3 years ago.
Okay,
I think 2 years ago might be equal to this, because 2 years ago was the year of spending when Timothy Mozgov, Luol Deng, all those guys just got stupid contracts. This might be the best. Will change the NBA the most. Yeah. But 2 years ago was definitely the most fun because we literally saw Bismack Biyombo get a max deal, Timothy Mozgov get close to a max. All these guys just get money out the wazoo.
Yeah, and I think that gives the potential for this offseason to not be as crazy because teams don't have the money to spend. But at the same time, that could mean more trades.
Right.
And plus, just LeBron and all these options can make this offseason just.
That's the thing is, I think it's going to be less free agents as it is trades. I think trades is what's going to make this offseason amazing. Because the draft in 11 days, I am so excited. That's going to because half the top 10 could be traded potentially depending on what people do. The Suns could trade for another pick. The Cavs could trade out. So many people could just do so many things. But my top 3, I'll put this out there. Dan, you said Houston, LA, Philly. He said LA, Philly, Cleveland.
Yes.
All right. I have LA at number 1 because, like you said, the Chris Paul thing I think makes sense in LA. You have Paul George possibly in LA. You got Lonzo as a passer. You got all those things going from in LA. And I think that's an interesting spot for Bronny to go there, go to high school Matter Day or something, and go to UCLA. Go to a historic program. I think that's definitely a good look for the kid. Second, Philadelphia I have because Ben Simmons has the same agent. They love each other, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's going to be a great fit if he goes there, but I think it's a very viable option. And then third's my dark horse, like I've mentioned a bunch. I think San Antonio is a legitimate option because Greg Popovich, Kawhi Leonard, and I would take that team to possibly dethrone the Warriors. Even though they only have 2 stars, Kawhi and LeBron together could dethrone the Warriors, I think. That team would be unbelievable. With the best coach ever to coach, the best player in some people's minds ever to play, and one of the best right now in Kawhi Leonard. I think people forget how good Kawhi is because he didn't play. I think it's so easy to be yeah, he's good. He's a top 20 player, but he was a top 4 player last year.
And no one talks about him.
Yeah.
You can't forget about Aldridge.
Exactly, but I think he'd have gone to get money, wouldn't they? I think Aldridge has to be gone to get LeBron.
I think
I'll check out their cap.
It could be. I think they could fit all 3, but they wouldn't have anything. But if you do trade away Aldridge, you could definitely get some pieces back for him. And build that roster. Plus, DeJounte Murray, he showed some potential this season. If he plays with LeBron and Kawhi, he could definitely be even better.
Yeah, I mean, DeJounte Murray's a great point guard for them if they decide to do that. Aldridge is making 22. They'd have to get rid of him. Gasol's making 16. Patty Mills at $13 million.
I mean, they'll definitely have to get rid of Gasol.
Because Danny Green's opting in. Rudy Gay's probably going to opt in. I mean, they can definitely make it work. Why are they still paying Tim Duncan? But they're still paying Tim Duncan $2 million. No idea why. But
Thanks for being the GOAT.
LaMarcus is going to have to be gone. But who would you trade him to? Like, say he trades into Milwaukee, you can get like Tony Snell and like a pick. I don't know. I don't think like any trades can get anything
you can
great.
get like Malcolm Brogdon or something back from Milwaukee, something like that.
I mean, even if you go to like Dallas, they just like, which is someone that has a bunch of cap. You trade him to Dallas, you can get like Wesley Matthews. I mean, that doesn't help cap.
Plus
but like
three-way trades,
like
you could.
Yeah, I mean, well, did you see that
everything.
one dude that's on Twitter? He's gonna put out a 4-way trade today that makes sense all financially. It'd be LeBron. Like it's this crazy trade. I have no idea who he is. I just followed him. And he's supposed to put out this like crazy 4-way trade, and like so many basketball people like started following him like just today to see this 4-way trade. He's been like talking to a bunch of like execs and stuff just to like get this trade worked out. I'll try to. Have you guys not heard about this? It's actually really cool. Let me find it.
I kind of hope the trade happens just because this guy.
His name is Blazers by Sager. His name's Cigar Trika, and let's see if he's put it out yet. No. That's crazy, dude. This guy is just, like, so strange. He's just grinding on this trade. And I was like, who are you?
All right, well, we will retweet it on the Sports Sermon, or at least Jason will. So make sure you follow us at the Sports Sermon.
Sports with a Z.
Yes. All right, so let's move into rumors now. Staying on the Cleveland topic, if LeBron leaves, then they would look to move Love, apparently. Right decision?
Yes, you got to completely start over. This will be a very bad team for a while based on the fact that they are the oldest team in the NBA and have no future after LeBron. There's no reason to keep Kevin Love when you can get something out of him instead of winning a few more games that year.
Yes, it is time to move in the tanks for Cleveland if LeBron does not re-sign. It is time to start the process.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, what would you get, though? Because if you don't put the 8th pick together, you're not going to get anything great.
I mean, you're still going to get
but
something.
I think something interesting that I saw on Twitter would be, like, trading Love for, like, C.J. McCollum or, like, Bradley Beal or DeMar DeRozan. Just, like, break up those two-guard backcourts. And I think McCollum would probably be the best fit. Get Dame and Kevin Love in Portland. And then you've got McCollum and Michael Porter Jr. or McCollum and Colin Sexton or whoever they get at 8. If they don't have to get rid of the 8th pick to do it, though. I mean, a lot of has to go into that. But every trade's hard to navigate because of the financials and all that jazz.
McCollum's the youngest guy, but for a guy like DeRozan, I would try for a 3-way trade and get some more picks, get as much draft capital as you can.
Do they have
I mean, the Cavs don't exactly do great in the draft. Like, they're not like a great draft picking team. Like, yeah, like they drafted Anthony Bennett number 1. They drafted Wiggins and traded him. Like,
I mean, no one's a great drafting team.
There are definitely good drafting teams in the league.
Yes, but like it's hard to nail every single pick. That's why you got to get as many.
Yeah, I'm
that's
saying
why you got to get as many as you can, and it's so hard.
Clippers are very bad.
It's so hard. Okay, it is so hard to build a team with not going through the draft these days.
Clippers are bums. Hey, I just looked up the best drafting teams of the last 20 years. The last team, the Clippers. That's so funny. I'm trying to see who's number 1. But, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying because, like, you need the most chances if you're a bad drafting team, but, like, just be better at it and, like, I don't know. Like, I mean
you can't just
a
say
lot of
just
teams,
be better at it.
a lot of teams have done a lot better than them with their late picks and their mid-round picks. Like, there's just a lot better.
I mean, they'll also invest in it a lot more.
I mean, that is. But I mean, like, they had the number 1 pick and got Anthony Bennett. No one thought that was a good pick. Like, it wasn't, like, a miss to everyone.
Was terrible, but
like, no one was like, oh, that's a great pick. He's going to turn out. Everyone's like, why?
Yeah, what's
like,
going on right now?
Yeah, and everyone, like, I mean, Victor Oladipo, Cody Zeller. I mean, who else came out of that draft class?
Was it Giannis in them?
I mean, no one was looking at him for
Still.
number 1.
Still.
I'm just trying to say, like, those guys that, like,
what are they thinking?
What year was that? That must have been Dylan. You're the
That was
Oladipo fan.
Nerlens.
What year is
Nerlens
that?
Noel was in
2013, I believe.
2013.
It was
I mean,
Nerlens Noel, and that was like the big.
Any of these guys are literally better. Otto Porter Jr. would have been better. Like he went 3. Cody Zeller went 4.
Like literally anybody in that draft would
Yeah.
have been better than Anthony Davis.
And like you can say like Giannis because like now, but
yeah.
like Nerlens Noel was talked about going number 1. Cody Zeller, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter, Trey Burke, C.J. McCollum came out of that draft. Steven Adams, like you can go down the list of people that did hit. I mean, you do that every year though, and I feel like the Cavs are never the team that hit on their draft pick.
What do you guys think about the conspiracy?
Oh jeez, I'm out. Dylan and Danny. Oh my gosh, I hate conspiracies more than anything.
Bruh, no, like, listen. LeBron, you have to have heard this. LeBron left Cleveland, right? And he knew he wouldn't win a championship with that Cleveland team. He leaves
so he
Cleveland,
let him tank.
lets them tank for 4 years.
Again?
Huh?
You're saying he does this like again?
No.
Oh, he might.
Oh, I mean, he might, yeah, but no, he did that. They got Kyrie Irving, and they ended up getting Kevin Love
Yeah,
out of the
from
injury.
injury.
Yeah, and so and then he came back after that. He came back after they.
I don't think he did that on purpose,
It just worked out well.
but
I mean, yeah.
He did not know they were going to get Kyrie. Did not know that they were going to be able to trade Kevin Love for Andrew. Like, it just worked out. Coincidence. It was God's plan. Ask Drake about it, bro.
LeBron to Toronto confirmed.
LeBron.
Okay. So we kind of talked about this earlier, but David West says the public has no clue what the Warriors went through, and this tells you about the team that nothing came out. So do you guys think that like the team didn't get along, or is this a big deal at all?
I took it a completely different way than I'm sure you two did. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I just took it as like they all knew that none of them cared about the entire season. They all were super lazy, and they were just like, we're definitely going to get called out on this eventually, and they never did. So they were just kind of like, oh, sweet, we got to coach. Like, they coached the entire year and never really had to turn it on. I mean, even Steve Kerr, like, he ended his last press conference with, I might not even show up until the All-Star break. They won't listen to me anyway. And then stood up and left. Like, I mean, it was very obvious that they just did not try at all this entire season. Were able to win. And so I thought this was more of, like, they took it as, you guys have no clue how, like, none of us cared. And, like, they all just are like, I don't know. I don't think there's any, like, big issues. Because if there was, they would have came out. They always come out in the wash. It always happened. Hell, we learned about LeBron's cast through Brian Windhorst. Like, all these little things always come out. Where if there's any big issue, the biggest issue might be Draymond yelled at KD one time, and they're mad at each other for a day. You know what I mean? Like, little things like that, where, like, in the playoffs, someone got mad at each other, and there was, like, half a fight.
Yeah, David West might be just, like, overhyping.
I think he was right that, like, it says something about the team that nothing came out, because, like, even those things never came out, but, like, it was never anything that was going to break up the team.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means. You could be right.
I could be completely wrong,
I'm
too.
sure
I mean,
a lot
Steph
of
might
people-
want him to get traded last December. Who knows?
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure a lot of people really have no idea what's going
Yeah.
on here. But everything could be completely fine. If this is the case, though, then I see Durant staying next year still, but Thompson could be gone. I mean, if
I think
things
Durant
go
will be
bad-
gone in 2 years. I think Durant wins like 2 or 3 more and is like, all right, I'm done. I think Draymond would be the closest guy to getting traded, probably. I think if they're going to trade somebody and just like, not blow it up, but like, we don't want to keep paying, get rid of Draymond. Because but Joe Lacob did say he's like, they've earned it. We'll do whatever they want to do. If they want to get an extension this year, we'll pay him. If not, we'll do it next year. Like, he said that, like, they've earned it. We'll do whatever they want to do.
Durant
So
would get a lot more respect, like, from other people. I respect him. I respect the team. But, like, he would get a lot more respect from other people if he would go to another team.
I don't think he
and
needs
try.
to, though. Like, I don't think he cares about the people that respect him. He's like
I
he
think
cares
does,
enough.
though.
Because
Yes, he
I think
does.
it bugs
He
him.
definitely
I think
does.
it bugged him more, like, when it happened. Like, it kind of was always going to, like, bug him in the back of his head. But,
A
like,
year
it's
after,
not,
he still had a
it's
burner
not worth
account.
to, like, leave and, like, because then you're just, like, I don't know. I feel like you're giving in to the fans if you leave. We're, like, it's not going to affect him. Like, this true smart basketball people are never going to say, you're not a top 10 player because you, like, top 20 player because you went to Golden State. Like, everyone that knows basketball and, like, all of that is, like, you know what, like, he won championships and, like, all this. I mean, it's hard to find, like, multiple NBA, like, good players and, like, good reporters that are like, he's terrible for doing this. Like, most people that are truly in the sport of basketball are like, this was a good decision, he won championships. Like, it's
No one's
always the
saying he's a
Twitter,
bad
it's
player,
NBA
though.
Twitter that's always undefeated because they're always right. Like, they all hate, like, I don't think I think it bugged him, but it's now like, I've won 2, you've won 0, you're still NBA Twitter. Like, I think it's starting to be like, I think it's starting to get quieter in the back of his head. I don't think he cares. I think he would gain more respect. You're right, but I don't think he cares as much. I think he's whatever. Still, as much as when he came over.
As much?
I think that's what I'm saying. I think it's quiet. I think he's whatever. You're right, because everyone's gonna hate on him forever. Find me a player that never got hated on. They weren't good.
Not if he moves. I mean, not if he signs another.
Yes, they will.
Some will. Yes, but he will gain a lot.
He doesn't need that. He has enough fans. He doesn't care about no one cares. I don't think any NBA star at this level, when you're 30, cares about how many fans you have. You have enough fans if you're a star. You're trying to win. But I agree it would help his case in the fans' perspective.
Respect and fans are a different thing.
He will always be known as a top 20 player in this league.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change whether he goes here, he goes to Boston, he goes to Milwaukee, he goes to Atlanta. He's going to be a top 20 player, and he's going to be someone that was known as one of the best to ever play the game and put a top 3 scorer, in my opinion. He's one of the best scorers ever.
You look at LeBron, and he left Cleveland. Everyone hated him. You look at him now, and he came back. A lot of people gained a lot of respect.
That's a different situation.
I understand that, but it is different. But
very different.
Still.
I see what you're saying. I think he would technically...
And it would help his legacy, too.
I think he would technically... That's because he won a championship in a city that hadn't won one in how many years. Part of that is because he came home and he did all that. That's what I'm saying. It's different. But what you're saying is right. That if he did do this, it would gain respect. We're not arguing that. That wouldn't happen. What I'm saying is I don't think he cares enough to do it. He doesn't care enough to put his championships he's had now the last 3-4 years in this scenario and say, you know what, it was fun. Let's go make other people happy now. I think he is happy in Golden State. He understands that it's not worth... he's not going to get rid of his happiness for other people's. I'm happy in Golden State. My family doesn't even have, a wife or anything, I don't think.
That's a good point.
I don't think he's going to jeopardize that because other people want to do it. If he wasn't happy, I think that would be different. I think we saw signs of that, but it seemed to kind of all write itself out like the Warriors always do. Whenever there's an issue, they figure it out. And so I think if we start to see him get unhappy, then I think there's a case for that. But I think he's perfectly happy right now. So I don't know. I don't think there's really a big issue.
All right, let's move on. So Jerry Stackhouse has agreed to join the Grizzlies coaching staff as an assistant. Are you guys surprised?
Yeah, I was actually shocked. I thought he was a great fit for Toronto. He would be such a good fit there. Stackhouse has obviously played in the NBA. He's really close to a lot of guys in the NBA, most notably Brandon Ingram. Everyone's heard that story. They both grew up in the same city in North Carolina. He has a lot of good connections in the NBA, and I thought he'd be such a good fit in Toronto. But now, I was never high on JB Bickerstaff, so I think if he gets the can, maybe, it sounds weird, but maybe he's setting himself up for that job, even though, he's joining Bickerstaff's staff. It's kind of you're probably going to get fired in a few years, so I'll come over. I think he's kind of setting himself up in the future because they're going to have a top 3 pick, might have Doncic, whoever, and then once Bickerstaff doesn't get any wins in 2 years, he's gone, he comes in.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just setting himself up.
Yeah.
All right, so the Clippers are looking to trade up in the draft, possibly for Luka Doncic. Do you guys think it's worth moving up? And how much do you think the Clippers have to move up to get in the range for Luka?
So the first half, is he worth moving up for? I'll be honest, I've never seen him play. I have no idea how good he is. Everyone looks good in their highlights. You can turn on anyone's highlights and be like, oh, they'll be good. Everyone looks good in their highlights, so I have no idea. If they think he's the best player, then yeah, it's always worth it. If you can get a franchise-altering player, everyone would trade up to do it. So if that's kind of usually my mentality with every team, is that if they think it's their guy, then do it. Same thing with Baker Mayfield, taking him number 1. You know what I'm saying. How much they have to give up is interesting. It depends on which team they trade with. I think you're definitely giving up 12 and 13, and then probably a little more depending on the team and how desperate they are compared to... Because it depends on how far Luka drops. I have him in my latest mock draft. I think I have him going 5. That's different than 2. You know what I'm saying? So I think it really just depends on how far he's dropping, and that's where I think it's going to have to be a draft day trade. There's no reason to do it before draft day if I'm the Clippers.
Yeah, I say yes. I think you're not going to get anything amazing out of the 12 and 13.
Hey Dan, who was picked 13th last year?
Yeah,
that's just it's the 13th pick.
I
know. Hey, the Dak Prescott, the Donovan Mitchell. No, yeah, I know.
So I don't think you're gonna get. Excuse me. I don't think you're gonna get anything great out of that. So moving up to 5, that'd be good. Maybe get a centerpiece for your franchise. In my opinion, I'd be willing to give up almost anything since you don't have much for the future right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely worth moving up for the Clippers, only for the top 5, though.
What if he falls to like 6?
If he falls to 6...
That's what I'm saying, like, because this
I
is
mean-
like Luka specifically. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm talking about also trading up, period.
Like,
obviously, obviously, like, Luka's my number 1 player.
Yeah, he loves him. Like,
So-
literally, he loves Luka. When he puts out his big board, I guarantee he's be number 1. Like,
Yes.
Dylan loves Luka Doncic.
I think Luka's going to be a
Who do
freaking...
you compare him to? Because I got nothing.
I've never seen him play. That's my problem. Like,
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I mean, like, Ben Simmons,
say
I guess,
Ben
but he can
I say
shoot.
Ben.
Because he's a 6'8" point guard, and he's insanely smooth. Anyway,
How have
I'm
you
not-
guys seen him play? Like, are you watching his highlights, or are you watching him play?
I'm watching him play the game of basketball.
Where? Like, where are you going to Europe and scouting him?
Yes.
No. Like, that's why I don't understand this. Like same thing with Kristaps. I was like, I hope he works out, but I'm not going to say that I want the Lakers to get him at number 2. I don't know who he is. Like, I don't watch him in Europe. It's so hard to find meaningful games on YouTube of him. Like, I don't know. That's why, like, I don't have the, like, he's going to be really good. Sorry to cut you off, Dylan, so keep going. But, like, I just don't have that frame of reference. I've never seen him play.
Anyway, he's the MVP of the second best league in the world, which is much better than college, by the way. And he's only 19 years old. So I think he's going to be a stud. In terms of trading up, period, I think it would also be worth it to trade for the
Okay.
top 5, which is I currently have Ayton, Doncic, Jackson, Bagley, and Bamba. But obviously Luka's my preferred guy. Obviously it's going to take 12 and 13 for the Clippers. The question is, what is on top of that? I think you trade anybody,
Danilo?
honestly. Especially Danilo.
Is he not good? I didn't watch him play.
He barely played this season at all, and he's on the books for $22 million the next
so not
2
Danilo.
seasons.
No one's going to do that.
Yeah,
though. I thought he was
exactly.
good.
If you can get Danilo gone,
What about
Yes,
Tobias?
I say
Tobias.
if you get Luka,
12, 13, and Tobias.
that's a lot. I want to keep Tobias. He's the only guy in the roster that I want to keep. But if you have to,
12, 13, and Lou
How
Williams.
old is Tobias?
12, 13,
25.
and Lou Williams.
Oh, really?
yes, anybody. I would like Tobias. He's my
You do
number.
12, 13, and Lou Williams? He has
Yes.
literally, Luka is like Devin Booker. He has literally nothing around him then. That's all you... Because, like, DeAndre Jordan would be gone if they get rid of Lou Williams. Like, they'd have
you're
no
not
one.
looking to win right now.
I'm just saying it would kind of suck for him. Like, I'm Dodgers, like, gosh.
They have their pick
Like,
back
I have
for
no
next
one.
year, right?
No.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
the
Oh my
Celtics.
gosh.
I think it's lottery protected though. So
They'll be in the lottery. They're fine.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
okay. So last thing, the Suns want to work out Trae Young. Obviously, he's not in the range for number 1. So do you guys think that the Suns are trying to trade up again?
Yeah, they worked out Jaren yesterday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Either yesterday or today, he got worked out with them. So I think there's definitely intrigue, and I would definitely do it. Get rid of Chris, get rid of Bender. You don't need them, because now this core, I love Phoenix's core. Not this year, but if you look at next year, they have their pick, I'm pretty sure. So you pair Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and then you get a second top down, so you get Trae Young, say. Trae Young, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and you have Josh Jackson. That is a heck of a core. You have next year's pick. You stay top 5, top 10. Then you get a guy like, this is random, but like Romeo Langford, Bull, one of those guys. That is one heck of a core that, if I'm not Klay Thompson, but Kawhi Leonard, those other free agents, Jimmy Butler, like now there might be a free agent destination because their core is really starting to look good.
I mean, yeah, but
It's a long way
Future,
away.
yeah,
There's like,
right.
yeah, I'm just saying in general, their core is fantastic, and
Yeah.
this second top 10 pick could be huge.
no, I agree. But is there any way you think they're looking to trade back?
No, I think they're in love. They watched the finals with DeAndre Ayton. Like, not only do they bring him in for a workout, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, other people watch the finals with him, like, at their house. Like, it's all but over. DeAndre Ayton's going to the Suns. Like,
It's too bad. they're
Dylan's a
missing out
big
on
better. Dylan, you should bet all your money on DeAndre Ayton going to the Suns. Like, it's a definite.
Luka.
Like,
I just feel sad that they're missing out on Luka Doncic.
why? You're going to get him for the Clippers
Well, I'm sad for
or the
them.
Pacers.
I think DeAndre Ayton's going to be a stud.
I think Aiden will be.
I
don't
So
know.
I'm starting my big board. I watched tape here and there, but didn't really write it down. But now I'm starting my big board this morning. Watching Ayton, he just... I watched him and Bagley today. And Bagley is horrible on defense, but he just looks like he's got the energy and just like the will to like want to play and like go out there and just like get a bunch of rebounds. Like Ayton just kind of looks like I'm here, I'll get some blocks, like, whatever. Like, I just don't feel like he's got the same, like, energy. And
he
for
also
a team
played
like...
for Arizona, like the most team that kind of plays that way in the nation, I feel like.
I see what you're saying.
Wow.
I mean, but
I didn't
Duke
know where
also
you were
plays
going.
his zone. I didn't either. I was wondering where you were going with that one. But I just think Bagley would be such a good fit for this Suns because they're like a jump start. Let's go, Booker and him. But like Ayton, I feel like with Igor Koskolovich, whichever their coach's name is, like with Ayton and Booker, it'll be a lot of like slow down, pick and roll, pick and pops. And so I don't know. If they get a second top 10 pick, I think the Suns will be in such good position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much of a difference between like the top 4 big guys, Ayton, Jackson,
Really?
Bagley, and Bamba.
You could make a case for Jackson or Bamba at 1.
I don't think there's
There's
a
one on
huge,
ESPN
I
right
would
now.
think that Ayton would. I still think that Ayton's the best out of them, but I don't think there's a big
like
gap.
I think
between-
there's a big gap for me.
I like
think
Bamba. I like both.
I think
Yeah,
he goes.
Bamba's getting a lot of hype.
Yeah, he is.
That's what worries me. He gets so much hype, and we always see these guys rise up the draft like late. And Donovan Mitchell was it last year, and it panned out. But like, I'm worried about these guys that just like make this big jump because they're seeing him in training. Like, we can't forget game tape. Like, game tape is where you see a lot of it. And yes, he was on Texas by himself, but like, I don't know. When I look at it, I think it's Ayton and Bagley 1 and 2. Like even 1A, 1B. I think they're very tightly knit, like up at the top in regards to bigs.
Oh,
Then you have Jaren at like 3, like 1A, 1B, and then like you drop a number to 3, and then like Bamba at like 5. Like obviously not like actual number wise, but I mean like in terms of gap. Like I think there's like significant gap between Ayton and Bagley to Jaren Jackson, and then Jaren Jackson to Bamba. I'm not as high on Bamba as everybody else. I think I have him as my 6th prospect right now, but like I've seen people have him at like 3, at like 2. I don't think he touches Bagley or Ayton. I think he.
What about 5? Well,
What?
should we not talk about it now?
Yeah, wait till our big board comes out. It'll be coming out like next week and the week after. They'll come out sporadically. We're gonna have a mock draft on this podcast. It's gonna be good stuff. We're all gonna take our teams, and it won't be video like last year, but it'll be a good podcast.
Oh man, that was a fun time.
It was good.
If you want to check that out from last
It's still on
year,
YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go check us out on YouTube.
But yeah,
Sports Sermon.
next week, if you guys have any ideas of what to talk about, hit us up. It's kind of this weird week of a lull because the draft isn't officially here yet. Free agency's like, it's just going to be a heck of a lot of rumors for this next week.
Oh yeah.
So that might be our show is rumor has it. 19 rumors. Like, so yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I think is our schedule for next week, right, Dylan?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, we will see you guys then. Thank you for listening today. You can check us out on Twitter at the Sports Sermon, sports with a Z, Periscope on there on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. All the links will be on our Twitter. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you Tuesday.